Hello, welcome back to All About Community. I certainly wish I had more time to spend on the budget, but we have to deal with a few other areas while I have former City Councilman Loren Taylor here with me. Let's talk about potholes and blight. I mean, potholes sends a strong message about your city, and blight, dumping, I mean, that sends an even greater message. Now, let's talk about that. What's going on here?
Yeah, unfortunately, we all are too familiar with the obstacle course of dodging the Swiss cheese holes of potholes across our streets. But that is core, foundational. The infrastructure of our city has to be well maintained. Now, fortunately, we have, as voters, supported Measure KK and now Measure U, which creates dedicated, restricted funding for addressing infrastructure. So potholes, paving, repaving, and so
are the funds being used for that purpose? Because I had heard a rumor that they weren't.
So they are restricted. It is legislated how they can be used.
Two different issues. They're restricted, but are they being used?
Very true. Well, part of it's, you can't just create the budget. You got to be able to actually implement it and create the value and do those jobs and roles. And you know that we can't do the work without the bodies in the ground, bodies on the ground. And so human resources is a critical thing, making sure that we're staffing up appropriately, making sure that, unfortunately, as we're freezing positions, that can also detract. And we've got to be able to improve the efficiency of HR so that it doesn't take a year for somebody to get hired after they apply. And so those are all things that need to be worked on in the city. But the good thing is we have the funding. Now it's about the implementation and execution, and that should be what we as residents hold our leaders accountable to.
Okay, what about blight and dumping right here in the city of Oakland? I have never seen such dumping as I've seen in the last couple of years or so. What's going on? As Marvin Gaye would say, what's going on?
Are you going to sing for us?
Not really.
All good. When it comes to blight and dumping, it is worse than we've seen in decades. And what it is we've got to get on top of it in terms of the eradication, the cleaning up, but we also have to create a culture, promote a culture of actually cleaning and maintaining our city and not dumping. And we have to hold folks accountable when they do with penalties. Dumping is not a crime of poverty or poor circumstance. We have resources, ways that you can get rid of your bulky items, your small items, everything in terms of free dump days, free bulky pickups. We're putting more litter receptacles out. And so we've got to hold people accountable to treating Oakland the way it deserves to be treated.
I understand that a lot of people come in from outside of the city of Oakland and dump in Oakland because they know they can dump free.
Unfortunately, we have examples of that, and we have examples of Oaklanders doing that as well. And so we've got to be able to enforce so that folks don't get away with dumping for free here in Oakland. And we've got to educate and give people the tools, the resources, and know where they can go to dispose of these items cheaply, affordably, and conveniently.
Yeah, but what about cameras? Don't you think you ought to have more cameras in the city of Oakland? I know the argument against cameras about it infringes on somebody's right of privacy, which is a bunch of malarkey.
Well, as you likely know, Bob, I was a proponent of putting cameras in and actually worked to organize and mobilize community members to come out and reinforce that with our privacy commission. While they're trying to safeguard, as you say, the privacy rights, et cetera, they need to understand that we have needs, and these cameras serve a need to help reinforce and instill the community, the cleanliness that we need. So absolutely supportive, and I think we need to move even faster in terms of implementing and putting those solutions in place.
What about the apparent loss of the A's, which just announced they're buying some property in Las Vegas, which may not be what they thought they were buying. But anyway, what's going on with the A's?
Yeah, I think when you sent me some questions in advance, you had framed it, have we gotten played or were we being played?
And we've been played.
But I think the reality is you can't get played if you're not expecting anything more from the person on the other side of that table. I never expected them to be looking out for our interests. They are self-interested private corporation. You know who you're negotiating with. They're always trying to make deals, play sides against the other. We need to come into the table in any negotiation understanding that and looking out for our own interests. And that's what I believe that we fell short on, is that while they were pursuing parallel paths with the Vegas and, Oregon and, and us as well, we should have been pursuing parallel paths. We should have been focused on what other developers might want to come and build out Howard Terminal.
Do you
How
think
do we block that?
You think it's all over with the A's in essence?
It's never over until the fat
over.
lady sings, right? Until it's over, right? I will say my best guess is that John Fisher is not long for Oakland. So either the A's leave with him or he leaves without the A's. But I'm not optimistic that John Fisher, as owner of the A's, will remain in Oakland.
So that means that it opens up opportunities in Howard Terminal.
They've always been open. We've got the funding, the entitlement. We've got a lot that's already underway there. And I'm sure there are a lot of folks who see the value in investing in Oakland, or at least it's our job to help them see that value.
So we should not be terribly concerned because of the fact that A's have decided to play us and move to Las Vegas. Is that right?
I rest on the fact that Oakland has incredible value, and one partner doesn't make or break who we are as a city. And so my focus is, and as a leader outside of City Hall, my focus is making sure that we appreciate the value that we bring and build that out to get maximum benefit for Oaklanders.
And let's remember that Oakland has incredible value. We've got to go to break, so don't touch that remote. We will be right back with All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host, and my guest is Loren Taylor, former city councilman, right here in the city of Oakland.